This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. I'm doing this video because so many people have flooded me with messages in my inbox asking me just for my take on this. And that is in regards to the musician, I guess he was a DJ, who goes by the name AVlLCll, who supposedly committed suicide a week or two ago. Now, it took me time to get around to this. I was not familiar with who he is, and I didn't want to just throw a video up the day that this story happened without investigating it, waiting for some stuff to come out, looking at his background. And as more stuff came out, the story, like most of these stories about musicians who just suddenly commit suicide, the story just stunk, to be quite honest. You have Prince, you have Chris Cornell. What was Prince's? Ruled an overdose. Chris Cornell, suicide. It's just been happening. The guy from Linkin Park last year. Okay, now, of course, we all know the 27 Club. AVlCll actually was 28, so he was not a member of the 27 Club, which is a common occurrence for musicians to be sacrificed at 27. Now, we'll never be able to say, well, was he a blood sacrifice? I mean, did they murder him? But anytime these stories come out, and it's just instantly labeled as suicide, when they just go, oh, he killed himself. And it's like, where's the evidence that he was depressed? Oh, well, he was battling all sorts of stuff. The guy's worth $20 million, and I know money doesn't buy you happiness, but the guy was doing what he enjoyed doing. He was about to, get married. He was raising a child with a woman who had a child. He was raising the child as his own. There was no signs of depression, and there never really is around these people. They'll just tell you that they're on a prescription drug, or even if they're on something or they have, Xanax in their house, they'll say, oh, he was suicidal, he was depressed, and people just write it off, and it's not a big, and they just go, yeah, I don't, I guess he really was depressed, and they don't seem to care. They don't seem to see that a lot of these people do get ritually sacrificed. Now, what's interesting about this, which I'm going to get into, is the stories that came out that AVlCll was going to expose a child trafficking ring. Now, this isn't the first time that this backstory has been involved. I believe with Cornell, or the Linkin Park singer, it was the same backstory. Suddenly people said, well, they were going to expose a trafficking ring. They had been abused as kids. There were stories that the Linkin Park singer was abused as a child. Okay? And that he was going to come out and do this stuff. Well, isn't it odd that this same backstory comes out with AVlCll? Now, all the stuff I've read, people say, well, there's no proof that he was going to expose anything. But as we're going to look at here, AVlCll has a music video called For a Better Day. The entire video exposes child trafficking. It's a very disturbing video. I'm surprised that this guy had the guts to put this out there. I'm surprised they let him put it out there. But you can see the video, creepy men. All of these kids are locked inside of, this gigantic, they're inside of this containment, facility or back end of a car with their clothes off. Just disturbing stuff will make your stomach turn. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. This is the kind of stuff that, really gets your blood boiling. But you can see all these men here, and then you could see these children running through the cornfields trying to escape, or running through, grassy areas trying to escape. And then you get these two masked people. I believe one of them is supposed to be AVlCll. And you could see a man pleasuring himself, which is, I guess, supposed to be to child pornography. And they come and they beat him up and they kill him. Okay, and people are saying, well, this is a message from AVlCll about trafficking, and all of these stories and reports have come out that he did donate a lot of money to human trafficking to try to stop human trafficking and raise awareness on it. Now, he's obviously not exposing the occult here. He's not exposing Satanism, but he is showing you that this is how it works, that this does go on, which is more than you could say for most of these other musicians out there. So you have to give the guy credit for that, because nobody even acknowledges that this stuff even goes on, right? Every music video is about the same. It's either baiting for race war or pushing feminism or whatever agenda's going on. They never talk about stuff like this. But you see these two people that continue to hunt down these men who are seen taking these children out of the truck. Maybe, possibly, they're saying that the two people who doing the killing were actually abused, and it's a flashback in time. They lynch a guy and hang him off of a building. Okay, and you can see the kids inside. It's really, really an intense video, for a music video, that's for sure. And you can see all of these children inside the truck and these sick men. This is what they do. This is real. This is how trafficking works. Sometimes they'll have these kids locked up in a cage, and these, limos will pull up with these rich business class elites. They'll come out, They'll pick which kid they want. They'll abuse the kid sexually. They'll kill the kid, and the kid's never heard from again. And people just go, oh, we got millions of missing kids, cameras in every corner, and nobody knows what happens, right? So the video for A Better Day, it does expose the trafficking does go on. And like I said, the rumor was that Avicii hinted at exposing a trafficking ring, not just during his video. The DJ was stumbled upon something, they said, that was too close to truth of human trafficking, or he was planning to follow up on the second video with more information. Now, like I said, he's donated a lot of money to try to expose trafficking. That is according to these articles that have come out. If I can't say if there's much truth behind it, but according to his family and his loved ones, he was all about trying to expose this stuff. So would it be a coincidence that, Chester Bennington and Chris Cornell, who, also had ties to, the same pedophilia investigation, and that all of them are just popping up dead, committing suicide? All these people are depressed. They have young children, wives, pretty, weird stuff. And his family released a statement saying, "We would like to thank you for the support and the loving words about our son and brother. We're grateful for everybody who loved Tim's music." That is his real name, Tim. Now, again, his name, Avicii, is actually a little suspicious as well. He's named after, apparently he picked this name because of his real name was taken on MySpace or something. But the name Avicii means the lowest level of Buddhist hell. So that's a little bit bizarre here. Now, I've looked into him as far as, throwing up Illuminati's hand symbols. I haven't seen anything. I've looked into, people he associates with. I haven't really seen anything that would make me say, okay, this guy was an Illuminati puppet and this is all a big show. And I know, we all are under the mindset that everybody who makes it is one of them. That is true, but there are people who, with the way the internet is, can actually, build an audience. And then as they become bigger, they try to get a hold of them. And if they don't go with them, they could get whacked, or they could get their career, they can get their name run through the mud in the tabloids so that their careers will get shut off and taken down. But again, I'm always suspicious with this stuff because, remember, philanthropy, and when that stuff gets pushed, there's always, like I said, the Masons, all of the secret societies push philanthropy on all of the people who are initiated and indoctrinated in those societies so that they can always, shine a good light on them. But does this story stink of foul play? It does stink of it because people just aren't committing. How many musicians do we need to hear they just suddenly kill themselves and people go, well, listen to some of their song lyrics. They sounded really depressed or sounded really crazy. I don't think so. Okay? There's always something behind it. These people are known to sacrifice one another. It's an insane world that we live in. These people are absolutely out of their mind. They're saying that he struggled with thoughts about the meaning of life and happiness. The family said he could not go on any longer, that he wanted to find peace. He could not bear it any longer. He wanted peace. And that's also prompted some people to believe that in him discovering the truth about these child trafficking rings and the occult, maybe it did lead to some type of depression. Obviously talking about this stuff, looking into this stuff all the time, it is not healthy for my mental health or for anyone who listens for the most part. You have to take, time to be in the Word, to not overwhelm yourself with the negative stuff, because it is disgusting. Talking about this stuff, thinking about it, it's heartbreaking. I wake up in the middle of the night with panic attacks with my heart racing, especially on days where if I'm doing a video about, just something along the lines of McMartin or along the lines of, one of these stories about the occult and child sacrifice, because it's so frightening to think that these people could just do this stuff to kids. It's frightening for the standpoint. It just breaks my heart. So anyway, I'm rambling about myself. But the point being, there is this hint that they're trying to say that, once he discovered this stuff, he became depressed and suicidal. I don't really buy it. I think there is foul play involved, so that's my opinion on it. This is the statement that they released. Our beloved Tim was a seeker, a fragile, artistic soul searching for answers to essential questions. An overachieving perfectionist who traveled and worked hard at a pace that led to extreme stress. When he stopped touring, he wanted to find a balance in life, to be happy and be able to do what he loved most, music. He really struggled with thoughts about meaning, life, and happiness. He could not go on any longer. He wanted to find peace. Tim was not made for the business machine he found himself in. He was a sensitive guy who loved his fans, but shunned the spotlight. Tim, you will be forever loved and sadly missed. The person you were and your music will keep your memory alive. We love you, your family. And again, Other stories coming out that he, about a secret girlfriend that he had, and they were starting a family together. So to me, these types of things don't really match up. You never know what's inside someone's head. But when you know how the enemy works, you know how sick these people are, and you know if anybody's going to give a sniff or, shine the spotlight on human trafficking, that they're not going to sit back and go, oh, okay, that's great. It bothers them. They don't want people to know this stuff. Like I've said, the stuff they want you to think about trafficking is that kids are getting trafficked to third world countries to make sneakers for Nike. That's what they want you to think. Not that it's sex trafficking, because then the questions start coming up. Who are these people? How do they have the money? Who's the network? How are they getting these kids smuggled to other countries? Because the CIA's involvement and all this stuff. They don't want people to start digging. So there's that. Again, I don't know for sure. Nobody knows if it's a human sacrifice or not, but it's another one of these suspicious stories about a musician who takes his own life, who has connections, and you could clearly see from the music video, has connections to exposing or at least showing people and shining light on child sex trafficking. Common theme. We're seeing it all the time now. I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.